The thing is about Blithfield Reservoir, you just never know what's out there. The sheer size of it, its history, its track record, everything about it just inspires you every time you arrive here. Every time I come, I can't wait to fish it. I don't care what the weather, what the conditions are. I'm always full of confidence when I go out there, and today will be no different. Can't wait to get out. It's a 900-acre man-made reservoir set in the Staffordshire countryside. Predominantly it's split into two halves. You've got the deep half up this end near the boathouse. You have a central causeway which goes across here, which the boats can get under. As you go through to the other end, the deck then splits into two halves. It's almost like a Y shape. One half is the Tad Arm moving up into the shallows, and the other half is what we call the Blythe Arm, because the River Blythe runs into it at the top end. So essentially it's a lake split into two halves, with you've got the shallow end up at the top outside there, and then down near the deeper water at the dam end. I remember a friend of mine, John David, getting us the authority or the opportunity to fish on this lake. I'd heard about it quite a bit at the time, you know, through the grapevine, that as a trout water, it's producing some very large pike. And then we got the opportunity, I think it's about 12 or 13 years ago now, to come on in and fish it with lures. The excitement was tremendous, Richard, just the opportunity to get on here and fish for these leviathans that we'd heard about, you know. So yeah, a real opportunity, and something that I was looking forward to from the moment I fished it. So I was very lucky enough about 3 or 4 years to be on the boat with Eric Edwards when he had what's considered to be the biggest brace of pike ever caught in the UK. The biggest of that brace was 41.5 pounds, and it was backed up by a fish of 37.5. Absolutely immense brace of fish, and an absolute privilege to witness. I mean, those fish were so big, to put it into perspective. About 10 minutes after Eric had those, I had a fish of 21 pounds, which I actually chinned out of the water and was about to return when Eric said, you know, what are you doing? It's a 20-pound fish. And having caught a 20-pounder, you know, within minutes of a 40, it just puts into perspective the size of what's out there, you know. I'm a firm believer that you get strains of pike anyway. You know, some waters naturally produce big fish and some don't. And when you mix it up here, it's got a special set of circumstances. I think Blithfield's always produced big pike anyway, even before it became a trout water, because it has vast shoals of prey fish in here anyway. You know, you go out there in an echo sounder now and you can see, you know, hundreds and hundreds of yards of prey fish 6 foot deep in the bottom. And in addition to that, you know, some while ago it got taken over by Blithfield Anglers, who are a trout club, and of course they've been supplementing the pike's diet with a tremendous amount of protein, I suppose, in the shape of rainbow trout. So when you couple that with the fact that, you know, it's only fished maybe 6 or 7, 8 days a year tops by pike anglers. You've got 900 acres. There's a really rich source of food. You know, we're only scratching the surface as pike anglers, so, and we all know that pike thrive on neglect. So I think that's why it's got this tremendous reputation and good value for its reputation too. For whatever reason, the reservoir hasn't produced one of those giants for a number of years now. Now, there are several reasons for that, I believe, and I think, although at the risk of repeating myself, I'm going back to the fact that I think we're really only scratching the surface here on Blithfield. You know, we have something like, I think there's 20, 22 boats go out for 4 weekends of the year. When you put that into rod hours, it's minuscule compared to the size of water. As I said, it's just short of 900 acres, and there's 200 or 300 acres of that nature reserve, so again, a place that doesn't get touched at all. And the fact it's just a lack of pressure, I believe. And they are in there. You know, I'm 100% convinced these big fish are in there. I've seen them following lures. Friends of mine have seen them. Well-respected pike anglers have reported immense fish. And we've seen them at spawning time as well. So it's a place I will keep coming back to, because I'm 100% they're in here. They're real monsters, and who knows, maybe this weekend. How do I feel when I get a bite on here? Well, I think I just told you that I think the place is capable of doing record pike. It's a heart-stopping moment. The thing about pike fishing, when you're lure fishing, or if we're fishing with a drifter or anything like that, you know, as soon as you get that take, you just really don't know. It could be a fish of £3, it could be a fish of £35. It's an absolute buzz to be on here. Any kind of bite, any kind of take from a fish on here is something special, and a huge adrenaline buzz as soon as you get it. I'm of a strong opinion that hotspots are made hotspots by getting a lot of angling pressure. If you go back 4 or 5 years, something like 90% of the anglers would fish for 90% of the time on watery lane. so hence it does catch a lot of pike. So I'm a great believer that the fish can come from anywhere on here. But yeah, I mean, Water Lane always does fish. Come February, the deep water just outside us here, where the boys are, does a lot of fish. Concrete Bowl, and of course up the Tad Arm around Yatesell's Bank, which where Eric had his record brace, is always good for a fish or two. But really, again, if someone came on here for the first time, I would say don't be bogged down by what's gone before. You know, do your own thing. There's a lot of anglers come on here for the very first time and showed the guys who've been fishing it for years a thing or two by coming on here without any preconceptions, you know. So I wouldn't get hung up about where fish have come from in the past. I'd be more concerned about where they're going to come from in the future. A common mistake a lot of people make when they come onto Blithfield is they tend to fish with static dead baits. It doesn't seem to be water that responds to that. There are pike waters that do, but they tend to get a bit more pressure than this. To me, it's predominantly a lure water. You can catch on dead baits, and we have caught on drifting dead baits, you know. So, predominantly, I would say lure fishing. I would recommend anyone to come and lure fish on here. I'm very simple with lure fishing techniques work as well. You know, I've caught a lot of fish on spoons. Spoons work very well fished in the margins, especially when the temperatures are right. When it gets deeper, we tend to fish lures even deeper, fishing things like replicants and cast eggs, very deep down in 35, 40 foot of water even. So if I was going to give some advice the first time of coming on here, I'd certainly be fishing lures. If we go back to the fish that I told you about that Eric caught at 41.5 pounds, that was an October fish. That was a tremendously long fish. Now, if you want to say, well, a large pike of that size come February, we'll be carrying, what, 6 or 7 pounds of spawn. That already takes it to around or above the British record, around 47 pounds. The average stock of pike of trout in here, you know, £2 plus. You know, we're talking mammoth size. We're certainly talking mid to upper 40s and maybe something really exceptional. It's that kind of place, it really is.